Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about getting rid of some things. Um, there's this misconception that when you read a lot of self-improvement content or when you really go out of your way to learn and to grow and to become a better person, that you have to do everything. Some of the most common things that you will see is stuff like wake up early and work hard and try a lot. And there's a little kitten on my lap, so she's just going to be in the video. But that's not what really works. In your life, you're going to have a lot of things that do not work. You're going to have a lot of things that are just not cut out for you. If you remember a previous video, I talked about that 50% of the things that you read will work for you 50% of the time. If we go by that rule of thumb, then 75% of stuff that you look up will not work for you. The point is not to make it work no matter what. The point is to take the advices when they work, use them, get the most out of them, and then throw them to the wayside when they don't, and keep checking in on them. Keep checking to see if, maybe it'll work after a little while again. So stuff like the morning, the waking up, we'll just use that as an example, but it can be any self-improvement tip, any personal growth tip that you've ever encountered. But taking the example of of waking up early, that may work for you for some time. It might work for you for weeks, months, maybe even years, but maybe not forever. The question you have to ask yourself is, what is the point of you waking up earlier? Why did you decide to follow through with that tip? Was it because it feels better? Was it because you get more done? Was it because you just wanted to try it? Based on the results you're trying to achieve, you're going to have a different reason for, or a different time when to drop it. If, for example, what most people subconsciously want out of their morning is to be more productive, if that's your main goal, but after a while of waking up early, you wake up groggy every single day, you don't get started for 2 or 3 hours in the morning, and just nothing seems to flow until 8 a.m., even though you wake up at 5 like everybody tells you should. If that happens, is it really beneficial to you to still keep waking up at 5? Many self-improvement experts would say that yes, you should stay consistent with what you do. But those same self-improvement experts will tell you that it doesn't matter how you get to your goal as long as you get there. And so if you get there more efficiently by abandoning one of those things that you've adopted earlier, wouldn't that be worth it? You change all the time. Life is ever changing. It never stops to be something different. And just like that, you never stop being something different. And just like that, you will also need to take on other advices, new advices. You're constant work in progress. And that'll be true for the remainder of your life. But you can still keep improving if you trust yourself and pick yourself up from where you are. If you understand yourself instead of trying to force something down your throat. There are, of course, some tips that work better, and if you've noticed yourself coming back to something over and over and over again, there may be more to it. Some of these tips that you read might be constant companions throughout life, but not many of them will. Maybe a few here and there. But there will just be different seasons of your life, as my coach puts it. Sometimes you'll have a winter in which you just don't want to do anything. If you force yourself to do things in winter that really do not work for you, you're just going to make the winter harder. Now, I'm not saying you should abandon everything or that you should drop your routines completely. Just go about them in a different way. Instead of waking up at 5 and going to bed at, 9 to get your 8 hours in, maybe it's time to wake up at 8 and to go to bed at midnight. If that works better for you, if you get more done in those last 3 hours than the first 3, why not? If the point was to be more productive, then wouldn't that just make sense? Now, it's the same thing for all the other habits. If you have to understand what the point of the habit is, keep the bigger picture in mind, and then constantly ask yourself if that is worth it. If you're still on track towards that with this habit, or if this habit is no longer productive, if it's no longer giving you what you need to do. As soon as it's no longer productive, drop it and replace it. Not forever, but for the time being. Because there's something better to take its place. Always keep looking for the better, more efficient thing. And that might mean you have to bounce between waking up earlier and waking up later. That's okay. There's no one size fits all. There's no golden rule. There's no perfect time. Every day is different. Don't count on life being the same. Instead, look at what works for you and just drop the rest. What you'll notice is that you become a lot more flexible because you work with a lot more different things, with a lot more different situations and habits. And you'll find it's going to be easier to adopt those habits and to stick on your goal. I've had clients before that really tried to do this morning wake up, and then their entire day was either made or ruined by it because they made it such a big thing. Even though they were trying to create 3 businesses on the side. They made their morning wake up time the most important part of their life. And because of that, no matter how well they did in their business, no matter how much they grew, no matter what amazing things happened, if they didn't wake up on time, they would hate that day. Even though them waking up earlier was supposed to make them more productive to create the results that they were creating. If you are productive, if the results show up even though you're not doing a habit, then it's not due to the habit. It's due to you. And that in a way is always true. You're just trying to make it easier on yourself, but easier doesn't mean that it's not going to be possible if it's harder. But you might as well make it easier on yourself. You might as well make it better. Mainly because why not? Right? Why have it harder if you don't need it to be? So if you're being less productive earlier in the day, then wake up later. All the advices you read, hear, listen to, watch, implement, they're temporary fixes. They're supposed to help you a little bit now. But that doesn't make them permanent. That doesn't make them anything that'll last forever. And that's a huge misconception. People think once they put something into place, that's it. They're done with it. As long as they keep doing it, it will work for them forever. Not true. Take it when it does work and then abandon when it doesn't. As long as you keep looking, you will eventually come across something that will work. Or you'll come back to something that you abandoned that actually worked quite well, but you just wanted something even easier. My biggest suggestion for you is to have a baseline. Something that you can return to that works fairly well. And then test out other things intermittently with that. So you'll have baseline, new thing, baseline, new thing, baseline, new thing, until you find something else that serves as a better baseline. That just works better for you. For example, with the waking up, try it 30 days. Right? 30 days new thing, 30 days baseline, 30 days new thing, 30 days baseline, and then see what wake up time works best for you. Do at least 7 days for any habit that you do. At least 7. Maximum of 90, because afterwards, if it doesn't feel any better, you need to move on. It doesn't work. And you don't have to go back to the baseline if you feel comfortable enough not to, but it's a good method to not make it too varied and to still have some productivity, and in case one of the things that you try is complete crap. But then keep trying it and just, again, abandon what doesn't work for you. Same thing with hobbies, for example. Sometimes a hobby will just no longer fulfill you. You don't have to hold on to it at that point. Sometimes it's better to let it go and to pick it back up later. Don't abandon it forever, right? Don't sell everything that had to do with the hobby. But if it's not interesting to you right now, then it's not interesting to you right now. That's okay. listen more to yourself, trust yourself more, and do what works. I think that's all I wanted to say. I think I kind of, hopefully I ran this point down enough that you get the idea that you have to keep experimenting with your own life. You have to keep trying, that you can't just do one thing and hope it works forever. Same with a job, same with a partner, same with everything else. You gotta keep going, you gotta keep looking. Not looking for new partners or new jobs necessarily, but looking at how to make the job more interesting, the relationship more passionate, your life more fun, and so on and so forth. If you can hear that, that's my other cat right at the microphone. So we'll end this video there. I hope you got a lot out of this, and I'll see you in the next video.